Okay, everybody, game number 1 of the day is going to start. We are in the draft right now. Fnatic versus Go is going to be our first game of the day. We are, of course, once again at the end of the Storm playoffs. Group B is going to be played today, and we have Infernal Shrines once again as the first map between the teams here. Fnatic here already in the draft with an immediate ban on Kael'thas, actually, and we see Go react with a Meridian ban, which is actually one of the preferred bans that we see throughout the last few days after Blizzard introduced the latest patch. Thrall as an early pick, and now for Go a situation where they can, of course, take a couple of heroes that are very strong on this map. We've oftentimes seen a focus on, well, I was just about to mention 2 other heroes that work very well on this map, but it is Diablo and Zagara that are currently being picked, so Go not wasting any time here. Of course, the teams had quite a bit of time to really prepare for these games. They knew already for nearly a week which team they would face and could study them a bit, could study the drafts, and therefore prepare a couple of counter strategies. And apparently Go really relying heavily on that composition with Diablo and his Apocalypse and Zagara with the more. So a lot of control on the map here on Infernal Shrines. Diablo himself, of course, can also make sure that they get a lot of those minions during the shrine fights, and in general still AoE reigns supreme on Infernal Shrines. In general, for Fnatic now, on the other hand, with the opening with Thrall, they still can head into, for example, a Tyrande and also a Jaina. Tyrande is still being played, oftentimes with the attempt to just like get another hero in play that can help you with a stun, and then a Jaina, of course, getting incredibly important for your setup as well. But as we are on Infernal Shrines, you can also lean towards heroes like a Johanna. We still have a false stat around and also a Reyna that you can use, and there is that false stat for the auto attack damage, an incredibly important hero when you play on Infernal Shrines and you want to have the mobility and also, of course, the extra soak on the additional lanes. So Fnatic, with an additional ETC, already starting to prepare a pretty annoying setup here, especially, of course, Breeze favors ETC. ETC, one of his favorite characters here to play, and that's something that we have seen also in the Blizzard qualifier, where Fnatic oftentimes drafted ETC against opponents. For Go in this situation, they have to think a little bit about what kind of ban would make a whole lot of sense here, and I mean, they are running with a Diablo, so they could themselves decide to go into maybe that Tyrande as a support. They could even drop the double support with Tyrande and Tacita, but instead of picking Tacita, they ban him out here. So that's one of those situations that you're always in when you're the team that bans in the second phase first and has the next double pick. You can first of all think about, okay, which hero do we really want to play and what's left to ban out. And an option for them was to take Tacita themselves and then maybe also add that Tyrande in, which works very well. Thank you very much for that. Thanks for the sub, Rover. Yeah, but Go, they decided against it. They decided to ban out Tacita because they didn't plan on picking them themselves, and at the same time, they also, of course, realized that Tacita would be a great hero against Zagara's creep tumors, would add a bit of area of effect damage to Fnatic, and they did not want that. And apparently, Illidan is really making sure that I'm not prepared. Nilsonius with another sub here. Thanks, guys, for that. Very much appreciated. Fnatic, by the way, was something that we have seen a lot. Banning out Sonya oftentimes is the key to winning the game if you have Thrall yourself. Sonya is a great counterpart to Thrall since she fills a very similar role to the melee assassin. And for Go, they first of all pick Uther here. And Uther has now a couple of purposes for them. First of all, they pick him away from Fnatic, which is important since they run Thrall and ETC, 2 heroes. They can actually do a whole lot with that Divine Shield. What Go has to think about is if they want to maybe even add that Stitches that we have seen dominate throughout the last few days. First of all, they take that Reyna, though, which opens a potential Stitches up for Fnatic as well. Stitches in general has been a hero that fits in so many compositions. He has that slam build, of course, which allow him to get a lot of damage out in those minion fights over the Infernal Shrines as well. If not for Stitches, Fnatic might think about heading into a Johanna here instead.
You are not prepared.
Sub-hype is real. What's going on? Germany Walk, thank you very much for the subscription. Thanks, dude. It's appreciated. But yeah, what's happening here? That's a very cool start into the tournament cast today. Well, as I said, Fnatic with maybe a Stitches, maybe a Johanna. Both of them add AoE. Both of them add a lot of strength to the setup. It's a little bit different, of course, in the way that they function here. A Tyrande picked for support, and that leans a bit more into the potential Stitches here. But they could also decide to just go for a bit more poke damage. I just don't feel that ETC as a solo support at the front line, solo tank at the front line would really be enough for them to sustain the team during the last fights later on. A resub for 13 months in a row. Illidan has a lot to say today, apparently, here, at least in our first draft. So yeah, I'm not complaining. So Fnatic, maybe with that Stitches, maybe with that Johanna. I mean, in theory, they could also think about going into Leoric, I suppose, but no, it is that Johanna with the Knight takes pawn. I like that decision a lot. Stitches would have been quite nice too, with that Tyrande follow-up stun, and also, of course, the Mark having Thrall around then would help too. For Go, it's a similar situation now. They already have damage on Reyna, they have damage on Zagara. Diablo can actually dish out quite a punch as well. So for them, it's also that choice. Do we go into Stitches, yes or no? Stitches has been, in case that you haven't really watched a lot of the games lately, been one of the dominant heroes after the recent patch where his damage got increased a bit. He's extremely valuable to the team and can, of course, always bring you a 4 versus 5 advantage if you get an early snipe. And oftentimes you see him with a Charism for 7-sided strike so that the isolated target gets bursted down. But Uther is a great follow-up too because he can stun that hero. And with Diablo and Stitches, you have two heroes that just kind of like reposition the opponent's team and force them to rotate around. So Go has to think about if they want to head into Stitches here, they need, in my personal opinion, another frontliner. If they don't go for Stitches, they still have a couple of other options of what they could use here. We have seen, of course, also a few Tyraels in play. You can use that too. The opponent setup doesn't really make for it. Jaina, by the way, was completely ignored. I just want to point out that real quick. Jaina would also fit into Go's composition quite nicely. The problem is still that Diablo as a solo frontliner is always a huge liability in the later stages of the game. So even though I feel that Jaina would add a lot to the team, I don't think it would be the best choice. And they go in this case for Leoric. They don't drop Stitches. He is great when it comes to those shrine fights. He is great for the hooks, but Leoric, of course, adds a lot, and especially that push or that pressure against Johanna and ETC is something that they don't want to miss in this game now. So we're going to head into our first match today. It's going to be on Infernal Shrines, Fnatic versus Go. The winner will advance to the winner's match. It's once again Group B at the playoffs of the End of the Storm Europe. So guys, let's jump straight into game number 1. Game number 1 on Infernal Shrines has started. Fnatic going up against Go here on Infernal Shrines, as mentioned. To the left side of the map, we have Fnatic with Breeze on ETC. We see Shrimpy on Johanna, Quacknix on Falstad, Ethereal Angel on Thrall, and Smexy on Tyrande. To the right side of the map, as you can see, it's Go, the Polish team. Napierdalai with Magnifico on Uther. We have IK side on Zagara, Ardren on Diablo, Wolves on Reyna, and Terror on Leoric. And well, if you haven't really followed the Heroes of the Storm scene for a little bit, then you're probably a bit surprised about a few of the players that we see on Fnatic's side. Shrimpy, a new addition to the team, and so is Ethereal Angel, a former player of Dignitas. And interestingly enough, Wooby is not part of the setup anymore. Wooby now part of Dignitas, so there was a bit of a switcheroo going on. Looking at the talents that we now have on level 1, there's of course a couple of adjustments here, and especially Tyrande, as the solo healer of the team, had to go into the Owl build. Oftentimes people still think that the Owl build is trying to maximize the damage on the hero. And to a certain extent that is true, but the main idea behind it is that cooldown reduction with Empower on level 1 and Pierce on level 4, so that you get a reduced cooldown on your Shadow Stalk and your normal heal to get the extra healing power out there. And Tyrande herself, of course, she was changed a bit in the latest patch. Blizzard was trying to tune those numbers down a bit. She has now less attack damage on her auto attack. She has an increased cooldown on Shadowstalk, and we have also a little bit less healing power on Overflowing Light. Overall, the hero seems to be pretty fine now. There's of course a couple of things that Blizzard is still definitely waiting for, making probably a few changes to Kel'Thas in the future as well. But for now, it looks like they are definitely putting some good work in here. As you can tell, we have at the same time now also Thrall going into the Chain Lightning build. Johanna with a Knight takes pawn here for the additional minion damage on those Infernal Shrine fights. And in this case, it also means that Eternal Retaliation is a very likely follow-up for her, since this is one of those things that is incredibly important to make sure that you get the objective on the map so that you can snowball that map a little bit. Diablo on level 1 with the Soul Feast decided to go into that talent over the Devil's Stew, which we have seen a bit more often these days. And the first objective on the map has been announced. The Shrine active up at the top lane. We see now everybody starting to rotate up to the top to go for it, but keep in mind that most of those teams will still aim for level 4 before they head into the battle itself, since it will drop an additional talent into their hands. Quacknix already heading into the Season Marksman stacks. So is, by the way, Reyna. The two auto attack damage dealers are trying to maximize their damage amount in the later stages of the game. And with Zagara dropping those creep tumors everywhere, we have now good vision already for Go up at the top. But Shrimpy is securing the first few minions for his team, doing very well here. Go will get level 4 a bit faster, and here is the extra talent now but for both teams it will come in time to make sure that they can fight on even talents on this particular shrine right now. And already focus attack being used. Diablo in a bit of trouble, gets let in, they get one for the stun. Arden moving back, getting shielded, not dying here. Great moves on the side of Go, keeping him alive in this encounter. Of course, Eternal Retaliation already taken for Shrimpy, reducing his cooldown furthermore, and he's trying to make that happen. 19 minions on the side of Team Fnatic, 13 for the opponent, but again, the attempt to go for one of the heroes. Zagara is the one who has to move back, and now ETC, the turnaround. Diablo moves in, Breeze is dead, and it's a 5 versus 4 now on the side of Team Go. The Polish team with the first blood in the game, and they move out to the top lane immediately into the shrine, trying to take that first Punisher. They have 23 of those minions already against 19, and they're very, very likely to secure themselves the first objective in the game. Fnatic already giving up more or less on the objective, instead moving into the mid lane, trying to take down a tower or two, but Zagara is already there, trying to push them back. Go meeting the rotation of their opponent, trying to make sure that they are in a position where they can deal with it. Punisher has now been summoned and is immediately heading towards the top lane. We have with talents now on level 4, Envenomed Spines taken, the Hardened Bones for Leoric of course, and as already announced, Pierce for Tyrande for the cooldown reduction here, with also in this case Ride the Lightning taken. And as you can see, that Punisher, pretty early in the game, still a bit weak, gets taken down right away. Punishers, they scale over time, so during the later stages of the game, they will be much, much stronger. At the beginning, you mostly just get 1 or 2 towers out of it, and that's exactly what happened here. We already had Diablo in the mid lane positioning himself, and down to the bottom, Zagara trying to soak experience. It's incredibly important in Heroes of the Storm, of course, that you try to keep heroes on all 3 lanes to get the extra EXP, so that you will head into that level 10 early on, where we then see finally the ultimate, the heroic ability dropping in for the teams. Level 7 is now ready, and that means, of course, another talent on the side of Go. We are seeing them with the double battle momentum for cooldown reduction on Zagara and Diablo, and Austin's renewal taken on Leoric. So instead of going into the reach talent, or him maybe even going into paralyzing rage, we have him in this case with a bit more sustain, trying to get that mini healing potion, so to say, for himself. Uther went into cleanse, the talent got changed to the last patch and is now a bit stronger, but has a 60-second cooldown. And Reyna, of course, going into the Revolution Overdrive, an absolutely important talent if you want to gain that extra movement speed during those Inspires. Zagara actually taken down at the bot lane, a bit far out apparently here, and locked down by Ethereal Angel and Breeze. Up to the top lane, we saw Falstad rotate away. He needed to be back, but can fly in, of course, as Terra is pushing that lane in. In the middle, on the other hand, Shrimpy has to retreat as well. Johanna here, very, very tricky to take down. She's extremely tanky, of course, and that is something that works in her favor. The next shrine is activated on the map. We have now level 7 battle momentum. Wow, Shrimpy is really going for the cooldown reduction, not only leaving it here at Eternal Retaliation, going into battle momentum as well. Terror is trying to dodge Quacknix, but the bird is on the prowl, goes in and is going to drop Leoric eventually. There's the kill, and Quacknix can soak a bit more experience for his boys, as the rest of the team in a 4 versus 4 situation is already located on the shrine. And this is an Arcane Punisher that they're fighting over. We have followed through, taken for Thrall now for the extra damage on the auto attacks, and both of the teams are super eager, of course, to secure this. Fnatic slightly ahead, and now Falstad is flying in as Leoric is back to business. The Undying back in. Breeze with a slide. They go for Leoric, and Loki is down again. The kill against him. The follow-up attempt and the kill against Thrall as a counter. Shrimpy rushing away, but Adrian is there. They go for Johanna. They can secure the kill. Yes, they do. Wolves on Reyna, barely surviving this thanks to his trade, and Magnifico healing him up on Uther. And now Fnatic once again down 2 heroes. They have to give up the Punisher. It's the second Punisher that they are going to lose here, as Breeze, Quacknix and Smexy are attempting to at least get some pressure in. It's still the same account of minions though, and with Fnatic taking the fight, they're still attempting to win this battle. We have Breeze locked down again, body blocked by Diablo. But there's the 5 versus 3, 5 versus 4 now as Ethereal is back. It's just a little bit too late. The red team secures the Punisher, and it starts moving in into the mid lane, or into the bot lane once again, with those arcane sentries everywhere. If you play Diablo 3, then you definitely know how hard these things can hit. Many a hardcore character died to those, and in this game, of course, it's exactly the same. We have already The Punisher starting to move in, jumping onto that fort. Level 10 abilities for both of the teams. We saw the Hyperion already. We have more an Apocalypse chosen next to the March of the Black King on the side of Team Go. The Polish team going up against Sundering Shadowstalk, and there is also Mighty Gust by Quacknix. Sundering used, they go for Reyna. The Divine Shield keeps him alive, and he hits those auto attacks hard. Quacknix with the barrel roll, escaping over the debris as Shrimpy is attempting to move back now too. Has to pop his trade. The Iron Skin is in play and keeps him alive for a bit longer, but Fnatic is in full retreat right now as Go is still fighting with only 4 heroes here because we have Zagara at the top lane already, pushing this in and doing massive amount of damage right now. Zagara is over here just securing EXP for the team, making sure that they get farther and farther ahead, and Fnatic, they are starting to fall a bit behind. Go, they qualified just barely for this tournament. It was extremely close. It was only because Dignitas could not put the roster in play that they were able to play here. But in the last few qualifiers, Go, they actually improved so much that it's not really a surprise to see them doing this well against Fnatic. But still, they are the underdog. Fnatic is still the favorite for this series, but at this point there's very little to see of that because they are in trouble. A triple more by IK side. Zagara and the Apocalypse has the follow-up. The wombo combo nearly completed. The damage isn't there yet though. Shrimpy low, he moves away. He doesn't have the Iron Skin, and with a penetrating round, Reyna finishes him off, hits that shot and hits it hard. Ethereal Angel and Breeze on the move back, but the stun against ETC, he dashes away in the last moment. Very important here, of course, as well. In the mid lane already, Quacknix positioning himself here to gain additional experience. 4 kills against 3 now in favor of the Polish team here in this first game of the best of 3 series. Go Terror is already in the mid lane now as well on his Leoric, and he is just trying to get a few more stacks for his reanimation. We have also now level 13 talents, and that's of course a big advantage that we see at this point on the side of Go. They have Relentless Leader even taken here, which is going to make it a bit more difficult for especially ETC and also, of course, Johanna with a Blessed Shield to lock him down with a good stun. We have also Crushing Hope now taken as a level 13 talent for Leoric. But you can really tell that Go is not simply going for the Shrine at the top lane. They start to push that top lane as well with that fort. So while Diablo is taking care of the objective, the rest of the team is rotating around, maybe even starting to take one of those camps. They have the opportunity, but they push the wall instead and force a town portal on the side of their opponents. Smexy is the first one to move away. Falstad as well. The rest of the team is also retreating. They were trying to get at least the experience from one of the forts, but that means they lose the wall. And of course that also means once the Punisher is captured, which is now the case, it will go straight for the keep. And once the keep is gone, we will see additional catapults just try and drop this lane. Right now, level 13 is the most important thing for Fnatic. They need it badly, and they try to secure it, but another camp is stolen away. We have Go with great control over the game right now. They are playing a beautiful match at this point. In this first game, they're looking very strong. We have them moving in, but the level 13 talent now is ready. Mighty Gust used, trying to get some extra damage on the Punisher in time. A double battle, a double Giant Killer actually has been taken. Overflowing Light for Tyrande as a solo support in this setup. And we have Face Smell taken on the side of ETC, but the keep is nearly dead. The Punisher jumps into the face of Breeze and Ethereal Angel. The keep is down, and Go moves away. No kills over here just yet. They dodge the Owl, but Fnatic, they're trying to flank them. They move in for the flank. Diablo is there. March of the Black King already used on Leoric. He gets locked down. Wraith walks away. Can they lock him down? They try to. Shrimpy and Ethereal are both there, and they use Sundering to drop Leoric. But of course, he's going to be back in just a few seconds. His trade is going to help him here, and Awesom's Renewal is another great tool if you want to make sure that your death timer is significantly reduced. Only 20 more seconds and Leoric is going to be back. Level 15 versus level 13. But right now, as you can see, we still have a very solid situation on the side of Fnatic. They are starting to get a bit more experience in here. It's all a matter of how fast level 16 can be reached for the team in red. Go has been playing very well here. If you look at the minimap, you can see that they were able to take quite a few of the camps. They moved to the next Bruiser camp up here at the top, trying to claim this one now as well. And with that happening, we are also seeing now another situation where we see Fnatic trying to meet those moves. They go in, take camps away. They know that right now they still can take fights. But once level 16 is hit, it's going to be an incredible advantage for Go to take this first game. And maybe even another Punisher if it's going to be announced. So Fnatic is still in trouble here. They would like to fight right now. This is the chance that they have, but it doesn't really look like Go is willing to do that. They are playing this safe and sound. They stay back. They don't overextend. They don't move in to risk
just too much, and it's a very nice match that they are playing now. Up at the top lane, Quacknick, Shrimpy, both in position, taking the lane down, and also, of course, that camp, but we have level 16 now in the hands of the opponent's team, and with Fnatic hitting 16, taking also the camp down here at the bot lane, we're currently looking at Unyielding Despair. We have also Bullseye taken for Reyna as his talent, imposing presence for Diablo, and after Mutalisk, it's now the Brute expansion, and they go for the same play again. They push the bot lane as we see Leoric heading for that particular shrine. So they're trying to get a Punisher, and at the same time, they go straight for that wall at the bottom lane, trying to do some structure damage before they even go for it. Once again, we have though Hyperion being utilized to zone them out as Shrimpy, Ethereal Angel, and Breeze were attempting to move in for a kill. That doesn't work out for them yet. And currently looking also at the damage board to give you a bit of an idea what we are seeing so far. Diablo with 87,000 siege damage, and we see 32,000 hero damage on Zagara. Reyna with 26, not too bad on his part either. The fight has started, level 16 versus level 16 now, 10 more minions, and we will see Go with another Punisher. We have at this time now Ranger taken for Tyrande, Echo Paddle for the extra damage on ETC, 37 minions have been claimed, and Go moves in to secure the final one. This is going to be the Mortar Punisher down to the bottom lane now. Still a level advantage for Team Go, and they are eager to get the second keep of the game, 13 minutes in. Still manageable to take one of those Punishers down, but they are already a lot stronger than they were before. We have the team starting to move down to the bot lane. They are getting ready for defense. At least Fnatic is. That keep, it has to fall. At least if it's up to Go, they are starting to move in with the entire might of their lineup and that Punisher. And this is, of course, the chance that they have to use Zagara once again with that cooldown reduction, trying to go straight for the keep damage, which is what they do. The Punisher is in the mid lane. The kill against Breeze. ETC down. Great move here on the side of Go, and they're going in again, immediately jumping on the opportunity to take that keep down. It's the second keep that they eliminate. The Punisher is still alive and might allow them the chance to take even more down. Here comes that more. Do we see Apocalypse? No, it's not being used. It was actually only used once in this game so far, but they want to go for core. They want to finish the game. Go is snowballing this hard. 1.5 levels on the side of Fnatic is missing still to catch up with them. And here comes that Hyperion once again. The core is losing hit points. Apocalypse has been used. Thrall is down. And this is game with now also Johanna dying. There's no way for Fnatic to bring this back home. We have Go securing victory #1 in the best of 3 series here at the end of the Storm playoffs. Group A, great play by Go. And we are, of course, going to jump into game #2 in a minute to find out if they can make it a 2-0 victory over Fnatic. Game #2 is going to play on Cursed Hollow. Fnatic versus Go at the end of the Storm playoffs for Europe. And Fnatic didn't really have the best start into the game here, into the series. They already lost on the first map. Now, of course, for Go, it's a question of what they want to ban out here. We had the 3 heroes that are being banned the most right now. Tyrande, Thrall, and maybe even Muradin to mention here. There's of course also Kel'Thas, but oftentimes the teams are trying to sneak him in. So if you want to make that 4, Kel'Thas were definitely part of it. Tyrande is still being banned sometimes or picked first, but it's more so a thing that depends a lot on the composition and what else is being taken away. So if you can head into a Muradin plus Tyrande, we oftentimes see the teams still do that. We have seen a couple of Muradin or Diablo Tyrande compositions in the past. Muradin is already banned out here by Go, so Fnatic is not really in a situation where they can rely on that composition. So they have to think about what they want to do instead now. Do they really give Kel'Thas over to Go, or do they ban him out? Thrall is also a huge risk here. They ban Kel'Thas out. They say, okay, we don't want to deal with Kel'Thas here. Go has now an opportunity to start things off with maybe even a false stat. It's pretty cool how it works now in the European scene, at least. It could be a Thrall, it could be a false stat. Both of these heroes add a lot of value to the team, and as the first pick, they are very, very strong. False stat is great of dominating the map thanks to his fly ability and especially the fights over those 2 bosses. A little bit similar with Zagara here, actually. Map control is also what she aims for. It's pretty cool to actually see Zagara making her way into one of the first pick positions. It's something that we have seen on the North American scene for a long time now. But in Europe, this is a bit unorthodox. In Europe, still valued Zagara quite highly, but usually not as an immediate first pick. Falstad and Thrall were a little bit more popular, especially throughout the last few weeks. Thrall, in this case, has already been picked by Fnatic, so as Go said, no, we don't really need him. Thrall immediately taken by Fnatic now, so they say, okay, if you don't want him, we'll take him. One of the things that Fnatic has to think about now is that Go in the last game already played a Zagara together with Diablo. So that Apocalypse composition with Amor as the initial part of the wombo combo, it's very, very dangerous to run into it. And Fnatic, if they really want to dodge it, they have to pick Diablo now. And that's, of course, something that we don't really see happening too often. I don't think it's going to happen here either, and it doesn't. They picked Tassadar instead as a great support for Thrall already with those shields. And it's a hero that you can combo with a second support, but you can also play him as a solo support. And Go now has to think about how they are going to create their own lineup here. Do they value Diablo highly enough for this wombo combo potentially that they pick him now? Or do they allow to Fnatic to potentially ban him out here? There's a couple of other heroes that are still very strong. Falstad hasn't been picked yet. We see on this map also a lot of Stitches played again. We see Reyna picked a lot thanks to Hyperion, all the control that you get over those cursed, tribute curses. Curse tributes. There we go. My bad, sorry. Diablo in this case actually picked right away. So Go is intending to use the same composition again, more into Apocalypse for that huge stun setup. And when it comes to damage, I mean, they are now in a situation where that Falstad would really do well for them. But if they want to have Jaina for maybe the follow-up damage on that wombo combo, they still have an opportunity to do that. But they take that Falstad as already I assumed here. So Falstad for the control of the two bosses with the Mighty Gust for the fly ability. But keep in mind, Jaina would have been a very, very good choice for them here too, because she offers the damage that you want to have when you lock a target down. And with more Apocalypse, that's exactly what you do. You can play with the Ring of Frost in this case, but we have a Falstad taken over that. Fnatic, again, with a very similar ban here. They go for a Sonya ban since they have Thrall, the two counterparts that we oftentimes see on opposing sides have now been already eliminated here. And we have a Stitches ban for Go. As mentioned before, he's being played a lot in Europe, sometimes even a first pick. That's how strong he can be in certain situations and maps. But right now, Go is saying, all right, we know that you might go for a Stitches. We don't want to deal with him. We have a Diablo, we have a Zagara, we have a Falstad. Not too many of these heroes have a good escape that is really reliable. So we want to make sure that you are not going to try and hook us when it comes to those tributes. ETC, again, for Fnatic. This is extremely popular pick for the team. And we don't see a Tyrande yet, but we can. I'm very sure that we're going to see a Tyrande here, either for Fnatic as a substitute or as a to supplement what Tassadar already brings to the table, or we are going to see it for Go. But it's just so good if you have that Pierce build with the Owl on level 1 for the Empower to just annoy the hell out of any kind of hero that is trying to channel one of those tributes. So that's something that we can definitely expect it to be taken. The question is, which team is going to go for Tyrande? How is Fnatic going to run this? Because Fnatic, they still need auto attack damage. They don't have it yet. Reyna would be good here. They could head, of course, also into Avala. I mean, you can argue, of course, a case for Jaina as well on their part, but they already have Tassadar, which is a support, but still a hero that, of course, can dish out a bit of AoE damage. It is the Tyrande, though, as already expected a little bit earlier. So, yes, it's going to be them to try and interrupt the channel on the tributes. And with Tassadar Tyrande, they have a very strong setup. Can actually go in a little bit more damage for Tyrande, which we now see quite often since the last patch. For Go, the situation is now that they might want to try and run into either Charism or Uther as their support. They could, in theory, also think about a Malfurion here as a follow-up lockdown after Apocalypse and everything else. Malfurion, though, is not really too popular in the European scene, so I don't really expect him here. And my first suggestion, Uther, has been taken now by Go, and I still feel that they need another frontliner here. Again, the same old problem. Diablo as a solo tank at the front line is just not strong enough in the later stage of the game. He's amazing at the start. He's very strong there, but later on he needs just somebody else to peel a bit for him, and that is where Leori could come into play. Johanna could be used here once again. They could go into Tyrael, which is a very strong hero on this map, of course, in particular now too, since after level 16 he can use Holy Ground as a talent and try to zone opponents out with that. That's a very strong talent to take as well. Fnatic, they might even think about heading for him, but they still lack a bit of range damage in my opinion, even though they could of course spec Tyrande on DPS. Go, what are they going to do now? A Tyrael would help them. A Johanna would be the more tankier tank, so to say. Tyrael has the added mobility and also those shields that can help the team out. in addition to the Holy Ground that I mentioned. It is Leoric, though, as in the last game. They rely on Leoric again, so no Tyrael taken here. Fnatic, they have a great Tyrael player, but as I mentioned before, they need more range damage, and that's where they bring Reyna into play. Reyna was the first choice, second would have been Vala, but they want to have that auto attack damage. That means that they run ETC as a solo tank with a double support behind him, and also Thrall, of course, at his side. Strong lineups again for the team. I'm liking the composition for Go. It depends a lot on if they are able to use that wombo combo that they potentially have set up here. And, well, with that being said, we're going to jump into the game, Cursed Hollow, to find out if Go can take the 2-0 victory, or if Fnatic will tie the series up and force a game 3.
Game number 2 has started, Fnatic versus Go. It is, of course, once again part of the series here at the end of the Storm Europe playoffs. We have our second game into the left side of the map as before. It is Fnatic with Breeze on ETC, going straight for the cow. Moo! Ethereal Angel on Thrall, Green Jesus or Green Moses is splitting the opponent's team with his Sundering. Quacknix is playing Reyna. We have Tyrande, played by Shrimpy. And Smexy on Tacita, because Heroes of the Storm players also know that Protoss is Imba. To the right side of the map, Adrian playing Diablo for Go, IK side on Zagara, Magnifico is playing Uther, we have Go Terror on Leoric, and Wolves on the Bird, he's playing Falstad. And the game has started with now the Owl build once again pursued, of course, on the side of Tyrande. Smexy in the mid lane here. Yeah. Not too much aggression yet. Well, and as I say, I detect the bot lane where they're going straight for one of the towers. As of course very popular now in Heroes of the Storm to try and bust one of those away, and that worked very well for Fnatic to get a slight lead in experience thanks to that, and also drop tower number 2 quite easily. Athero has to start to rotate over into the mid lane. We have Smexy going the long way around, since he realizes, of course, that he can't just simply walk through the gate over here without moving straight past these 3 heroes that could potentially take him down. And as you can already tell, there's 2 towers already eliminated at the top lane too, so both of the teams once again in a pretty similar situation. Sophie's taken as a level 1 talent, no surprises here. Reconstitution on Zagara. And while we are seeing at the bot lane now things starting to normalize a bit with Quacknix already on Reyna, trying to go up against Falstad, the 2 auto attack damage dealers with the Seasoned Marksman talent taken on level 1. We have Ethereal Angel now in play. Keep in mind that on this map, 2 minutes in, we are going to see the mercenary camp spawn, and then 3 minutes in, the bosses will spawn as well. So roughly around that time. What was that? that was a very optimistic lunar flare that we just saw by Shrimpy there. That didn't really work out. I guess at that point you just saw, yeah, what the heck, I'm just going to drop it. So we have Smexy here in position at the top lane with a lot of vision, of course, thanks to his Oracle, and he's going to try and use that to drop a few of those creep tumors eventually. But for now, it's the mid lane that is being pressured the most. Shrimpy, Ethereal Angel, and Breeze are there. Fnatic, of course, eager to bring this back and win this match here because, well, they are the favorite in this group, and they are going to try their best to make sure that they're not going to lose against Go in the first round. That wouldn't really be too nice for them. Focused attack already taken, as you can see, as the level 4 talent. Big pressure play at the top. Destroying the well is incredibly important, of course. And as you can see in the mid lane, Ethereal and Breeze already attempting to go through the wall here too. Destroying 2 of the towers and getting a fairly significant lead actually in experience now for themselves. We are currently 2 minutes in, which means that we have, of course, our camps everywhere on the map, as you can see here. So yes, camps have been taken. We have currently up at the bottom lane already one of the tributes announced. Heart and Bones now for Leoric on level 4. And with level 4 talent, we have the adjustment on Tacita against Zagara going for the mental acuity. With the double support that they are playing, he doesn't necessarily need to go into the Leeching Plasma, so he decides instead to get the cooldown reduction on his Oracle so that he can get vision a bit more often. Nice grab by Shrimpy. The problem is that to get this, we had the abandonment up at the top lane, and that's an opportunity that Go took to move in. So they made a smart move here. They said, hey, we can let that first tribute go. We are a little bit behind anyways. We need to catch up in experience. So just simply let Tyrande do her thing, and we move up to the top lane, make sure that we get a bit more damage in and go straight for that fort. We won't be able to take him down, but still... Oh, the kill against Leoric. Yeah, well... As we have the top lane, or after we had the top lane attack, they moved into the middle. They take Leoric down. Of course, his trade is going to help him to come back a bit faster, which is one of those great things about Leoric, that if you lose him in a fight, that he's going to be back in a few seconds. And he's also the only hero that does spawn, well, I guess the only hero next to Murky that does spawn where his ghost is. So in the map, he does not have to go back all the way back home. We have level 7 now dropping for Fnatic already. They still secure that lead in experience for themselves, and that means that we have
have Revolution Overdrive already taken on Reyna. We're seeing also Kala's Embrace for Tacita, plus Lunar Blaze for Tyrande, and again the loudspeakers that have been claimed. Tribute number 2 at the bottom of the map, and slowly and steadily Go will have to start and face the music here and move in for those. They will hit level 7 before the tribute is on the board, and yes, with that they have battle momentum now for Leoric. Awesome's Renewal taken again for the increased heal on the side of Leoric, and the battle momentum on Zagara as well for the extra damage. The fight is on, the tribute is about to be taken by Argent, and the Owl, of course, channeling him out. That's exactly what it's for. Great play here on the side of Fnatic already. They are still a level ahead. They go in. Quadnix, on the other hand, he falls. We might see a kill against Ardren on Diablo. Yes, he's dying too, but Aethero had to overextend a little bit to get that kill. There's not enough follow-up damage though to drop him as well, and therefore it's a 1-for-1 trade. But Zagara already on the channel. She wants to get the tribute here. Tacita shifting away. Shrimpy with another Owl. Aethero going back into play as he just welled up, and they start to push Go back. And with that, they might secure the second tribute for themselves. Terror is already walking it away, and here's the channel. Aethero going for it. He's actually channeled out. Wolves is there. It's a 5 versus 5, or it will be in a few seconds as Diablo goes back in. Terror moving in from the bottom of the map. Quadnix up at the top, flanking with Reyna, and we have again the position on the side of Go. They dash in, they go for Thrall. The channel is nearly completed, but no, Tirana stuns him out. Leoric has to move away very slow. Quadnix eating a bit of damage from Falstad, and still the tribute in play. We have the tribute still in position here, and Quadnix and Breeze, they are starting to go in for another channel, but Terra is already back. They welled up in the middle, they got their hit points back. Diablo is starting to move in from the bottom of the map, and this is getting really nasty. Falstad, Magnifico, can they channel him out? They can! It's the second tribute for Fnatic. Arden is also falling. No, he survives after killing Thrall. And also Leoric getting away here. Fnatic, they get the second tribute, but they lose one of their heroes in return. I don't really think that it matters too much to them. They are still ahead in experience. Great play here by Fnatic. Go very eager to secure the tribute, not able to do it. So only one more tribute is missing to make sure that Go is going to be cursed. They will be cursed if Fnatic gets another one. IK side here is also in trouble and completely isolated from the rest of the team. Absolutely no way for Zagara to get out of this situation. Great play by Fnatic. They already have 3 kills against 2. They have the 2 tributes. They are a bit farther ahead in experience as well. So they are showcasing right now that they are definitely strong enough to take on Go. The last map, they are trying to forget about it. But for now, the game is of course not over, just heading into the next phase of the match. The mid game is reached as the level 10 ability for Fnatic is ready. Again, the mosh pit on Breeze ETC. Didn't really get the opportunity to hit a mosh pit in the last game, at least not a good one. Maybe in this game it's going to be different. A lot of those areas are very small anyway, so a good ETC will be able to get a mosh pit in here eventually. The level 10 ability is only ready on the side of Team Fnatic, and that means that Go will have to let this tribute go. Oh, and of course, that is also the curse against them. Very unfortunate situation. Smexy is already channeling it. The curse is there, and therefore now we have the towers not shooting at all. We see the minions spawning with 1 hit point. This is a bit of a tricky spot. Oh, sorry. A bit of a tricky spot right now. My hiccups concur. Bot lane pressure maybe against Quadnix? No, not yet. He pushes this back quite easily. It's all about the experience right now. They're trying to soak all 3 lanes, and at the same time they push the mid lane with 3. The curse is going to be active for another 40 seconds now, and the mid lane pressure is still ongoing. Breeze pushed back. We have Go reacting to the rotation. They at least took a camp earlier. So they realized that, oh, there's the force wall. But the fly away. Barrel rolling away, getting out of harm's way. Apocalypse and more have not been used yet. So with Apocalypse and more not being used yet, and the March of the Black King not being put to use either, we still have them defending the mid lane, or at least trying to, but now with a commitment on the Hyperion, this is everything that Fnatic needs to just move in and take down that fort. They have level 12 now against a level 10, as you can see up here at the top, and they are starting to go straight for the wall at the keep as well. Terra moving in from behind, trying to distract them a bit. We have Falstad still at the top lane, attempting to secure experience for his team so that they will head into level 13 roughly on the same terms. as Fnatic, but it's starting to get a bit more tricky for them. Bosses have been up for a long time and nobody has really bothered trying to go for them. Was of course too risky against Falstad with the level 10, but even before Fnatic didn't go for it. Instead, now it's the time where they attempt to sneak one in, and they are currently down to the bottom of the map with Tassadar trying to go up to the top to maybe interrupt. Nah, they won't be able to interrupt, go for long enough to make sure there's his team growing. It's going to be an exchange in bosses. Top lane is taken by Go. Bottom lane is taken by Fnatic. That's not going to be a bit... This is actually like a pretty good deal for Fnatic if you think about it. They're going to hit level 13, so they can easily just like push with the boss and get extra value out of it, especially since they already eliminated the fort at the bottom lane, so the boss is going to go straight for keep, which is incredibly important now for them. They start to go in with this, and as you can already tell, that level 13 talent is going to be absolutely... It's so valuable for them now. Falstad is securing XP at the top too, but there's the level 13 at this point, and that means, first of all, Prescience for Tassadar. Super safe now in the way that he can engage into these battles. Double Giant Killer, and that alone is already a huge threat to Diablo and Leoric. And we have the adjustment on Tyrande. With the nerf on Overflowing Light going down from 35 to 30%, we see Sprint taken, a talent that before the patch already was very popular on the North American server and has now started to be taken in Europe as well. ETC moving in. Oh, the Divine Shield saving Zagara. More into Apocalypse. The kill attempt against Tyrande. Schwimpy is so low, but he escapes. Used his Shadow Stalk too. And here comes the Mosh Pit. The cow moves in and lets them dance. It's party time, and the party animal secures 2 kills. They're trying to go for IK side now on Zagara. Quacknix gets the kills in. Nice job, well done, and they are not stopping here. They go for Uther, and with that, Fnatic is saying, alright boys, let's finish this game. 10 minutes in, we are done. Let's bring game number 3, because we are ready to murder these boys. They go for the core. Can they finish it? Because Diablo is already pushing in, and it looks like it will be enough. Falstad is also back, and he has the Mighty Gust, and Fnatic has to retreat. Falstad already there. Here comes the Mighty Gust, securing 2, but Diablo is down. Aethero survives, and it is a triple kill. That Mighty Gust backfired really, really fast. Level 13 talent is finally ready for Go, but it is way too late. Top lane is being pushed heavily. Fnatic has to deal with it, and Thrall is moving in to do exactly that. But now we have, as you can see, Shrink Ray taken on 13. We see the Firestorm after the Fire Devil has been taken on 4. So the synergy between the talents, Shrink Ray, Giant Killer, and Crushing Hope. And a very annoying situation now once again for Go, because they are not only 2.5 levels behind, they will be behind by another talent in a few moments. And it's another tribute on the map, and that's of course a fight that Fnatic is very willing to take, considering that they are so far ahead right now. There comes Falstad. Yeah, well, he has Mighty Gust ready, not sure if he's going to use it. Once again, IK side is a little bit low. We have Bullseye taken, Diablo is dead, and the Ragdoll just get kicks around by ETC. We're seeing imposing presence, Dimensional Warp. Fnatic is doing whatever they can now to bully Go even more, and for good reason. Zagara, no way for her to escape, not even with the Maw. Quacknix moves in, drops the damage on Leoric. And talking damage, Reyna on 37,000 damage here already. His auto attacks are just a disaster for the tank line of Go. The Polish team, they played a great match on the first map, but right now they are getting completely destroyed. Someone call the care police, because Go is getting murdered. Breeze is pushing them back at the front line with his face melt. Nice attempt there by Falstad, dancing at the wall for a few seconds, but as is, he cannot prevent this keep from falling. And as is the second keep going down, 3-level lead still, and I mean, at this point, Fnatic can do whatever they want. They can actually just roll a dice for any of these camps. It's of course 1.5 minutes on both of these bosses that we see on the map right now, so there's very little that in this case Fnatic can do to take a boss, but at least they can take the few camps that are still on the map, wait for the next tribute, secure that as well, and then try to take another team fight with the help of the level 16 talent that still gives them the edge over the opponent. 13 kills right now against 2, looking strong, looking very strong actually. Quacknix is starting to move in now as well. Schwimpy, Smexy, they're all there, all waiting, and another tribute is already in place, is announced. 83% of the core. Now, let's not forget about that. There's Leoric at the top lane, trying to go for split push experience, and nobody's going for that tribute. I mean, Go, if they would go in right now, it would be absolute suicide to do that. So they just allow Fnatic to channel it out. It's the second tribute for Fnatic. Quacknick's fly are moving in. Falstad is going in as well. And, oh, mistakes were made. Reina, yeah, goodbye, buddy. Goodbye, Jimmy. Oh, he still gets the kill. Jimmy is down, but he's still got a kill. It works out in favor, actually, of Team Go, though, because you get a bit of an underdog bonus if you are behind and you kill a hero, and that's exactly what we're seeing here. So, yeah, pretty well done, after all, on the side of Go. I mean, they lose Falstad. That was a bit unfortunate, but I guess it couldn't be helped with Reyna being willing to just, like, drop all the damage. The one thing that you still have to consider here, though, is that Reyna, for some reason, thought it was a great idea to just move in like this against Leoric. Against him alone, he would have been able to secure a kill, I suppose, but he should have really thought about Falstad, and I guess he was caught a bit off guard when he saw that. Athera Angel already waiting at the boss, and now we have level 16 soon for Go. And I mean, we have seen Fnatic in a massive lead, and they are still ahead by roughly 2 levels, but still keep in mind that on level 16 we will have the same talent for both of these teams, so a team fight is more or less even. And that would already suggest that Fnatic has to be careful now. They have a tribute on the map, and Go is going to try and fight for this. It's a chance that they have to turn the game around. If they win a team fight on even talents, that would allow them to maybe turn things around. Instead, they seem to be willing to accept that curse, which I find surprising, and instead go for the boss at the bot lane. We have them with Benediction and the Hunter Killer talent now taken. Brute expansion for Zagara. A double imposing presence, which is going to help the front line. But Fnatic is making an exceptional move here. They actually wait with the channel a little bit until the boss is nearly taken. They have Curse and boss going for them now. And I don't really think they're going to care about the boss at the bot lane. I don't understand what Go is doing here. This is a massive mistake in my opinion. They should have tried to go for the fight. It would have been a very awkward spot, definitely true. I mean, no doubt about that. You're up against an opponent who still has heroics in, who has a lot of nice talents that they can use. But now the boss is moving in and the curse is there, and that means that this keep is most likely going to fall. And the core probably as well. I don't understand why they would do this. They had a chance to force that battle. Oh, they still are able to kill Thrall though. That was well done. And now Mighty Gust being used, but still a lot of damage dished out by Reyna. Yeah, that Hyperion, it hurts and it hurts a lot. Boss at the bot lane was pushing in the fort already, but the keep is now being attacked. And even with the 5 versus 4, we see Fnatic pushing in. They are at a numeric disadvantage, but they're still willing to use it. They are on the move right now, and they will drop that keep no matter what. And they are very close to level 20. This is the only chance that Go has. They have to turn it around right now, but they are also on the clock since this boss is not kidding. It's not joking around. Arden is already going in. There's the kill against ETC. That helps. That helps a lot, actually. They can maybe secure the one against Tassadowner too. He slips away, but that boss is hammering the core into the ground, and it looks like it very well will end the game, especially with Shrimpy moving in. And Fnatic, they take it. GG, as we see game number 2 end in favor of Fnatic, and we will have a third game between these two teams here at the end of the Storm playoffs.
Okay, everybody, we have our next draft starting, and we are on Battlefield of Eternity. Fnatic versus Go, game number 3. And the team started with the draft pretty fast. We have Thrall already banned out, and of course Go can now decide if they want to let Kalthas go through the draft, yes or no. There's a couple of things that you can ban out here. Zagara is a hero that we have seen highly prioritized, and on this map she is also very, very strong. So you could even consider a ban on Zagara, but usually it is that Kalthas ban that is going to be incredibly important. Mirrodin has been out a lot throughout the tournament as well, so that's another chance that you have. But the teams are having their unique style here. If you look, for example, at Fnatic, they've been playing ETC nearly every game so far. Go decides to let Kalthas get through the draft and instead bans out Tyrande now. So Tyrande banned, and therefore a little bit less vision, a little bit less Shadow Stalk, and also no stun lock available anymore to Fnatic, which could definitely bring Fnatic with an opening with Kalthas. That is definitely one of the things that they could do now, and which we expect them to do. Interestingly enough, we did not see Jaina picked or banned in the last game, which was of course also quite interesting. But instead of Kalthas, it is the Zagara, which I mentioned a moment ago. Zagara now taken here.
And that is interesting because it allows once again for map control, but it gives Go an opportunity to go into Kael'thas, and they use that, of course. Kael'thas with the Phoenix can do a lot on this map, especially, of course, if you're trying to poke a little bit from a distance at the Immortal. And talking poke, ETC has not been chosen yet, but we have Stitches as a counterpart here. Stitches has been claimed. We've seen him banned in the last game, ignored in the first, but we have him back, the secret weapon of oh so many teams, especially Na'Vi in the last few days. The hooks are going to be real again. It's one of the best hook maps for Stitches because when you fight for the objective, there is nothing to obstruct these hooks. Muradin chosen for Fnatic not only because he's very hit point heavy frontliner, but also because he's a tank who has a very nice escape and can always jump out. So that is actually very awesome to have him now in play too for Fnatic. He was banned out several times. And Fnatic, they can think about going into a Jaina. They have a couple of options how to play this. Jaina for burst damage. They could go into also, of course, the false set if they want to, which has great auto attack damage. Reyna fulfills a very similar role. Doesn't have that escape though, and that's a problem since you have Stitches on the other hard part of the map. So if you go up against the Stitches, you really have to think about these things. Reyna has a great Hyperion that he can use for zoning, but he lacks that escape. And Fnatic completely agrees with that assessment, and they take instead Falstad, who has a fly ability, who has that barrel roll that you can take. And we've even seen against Stitches a couple of adjustments. As for example, Na'Vi was using Falstad on Mane. He went into updraft on level 1 to make sure that he has a better chance of escaping these hooks and these engagers of the opponent. So there are a few things that you can do, even on top of using Falstad instead of Reyna if you are going up against the Stitches or a heavy engage comp. A counter ban already here, a target ban for Go. 2 times in a row, ETC has been chosen by Fnatic, and Go says, alright, we are done with this, we are going to ban him out now. On the other hand, Fnatic, looking at it, they are going for a ban on Diablo for the very same reason. First of all, with Stitches in the setup already, it's quite nice to make sure that you don't have another heavy engage on your opponent's side, but also that combination with Apocalypse is super annoying. Zagara is already picked away from them, but still Apocalypse on this map can be very strong, so they ban it out. And for Go, now, there are a couple of choices that they have to make. Again, Uther, Charism. It's that question, which one of these two are you going to get? Charism with a 7-sided strike can burst the target away that gets hooked, but Uther can lock it down with a stun and also supplies it with a Divine Shield. And as Sonya is picked, we are not seeing either one of them just yet. That changes things a little bit, because Sonya is now in a situation where, first of all, we have her as a bit of a bruiser type. We've seen in most of the games now Sonya banned and instead Thrall taken, but Fnatic already banned Thrall. Go takes the opportunity to go for Sonya and picks the Tacita. And we could, in theory, actually still see a Charism here. We could see that with a 7-sided strike and a bit more of a damage build for him. Definitely an option. Tacita could then go into Mental Acuity on level 4 over the Leeching Plasma and give Charism at least a chance to get a few healing numbers in. It depends a bit on what Fnatic picks here, because they might also try and go for a Charism themselves. And yes, they do it. They pick it more or less away from Go. I'm personally pretty sure that Go would have thought about going Charism on top of Tacita and just like spec the heroes a little bit differently to get that hook into 7-sided strike plus Kael'thas and Sonya damage. But Fnatic counteracts that by picking Charism themselves, and that's also a great choice because Charism has a Relentless on level 13, which makes it easier for him to get away from Kael'thas when he tries to use the Netherwind, and he can dash away from Stitches after getting hooked if there is a hero that he can dash towards. So that is a really cool pick. But what Fnatic still needs is probably someone that helps them a bit at the front line. If they want to have poke, oh, I love it. I was just about to say, if they want to have poke, they can go into also another like range damage dealer. But an Anubarak here is, of course, great. We could see Cocoon again, would make a lot of sense. But I'm personally very eager to see what Go is going to drop as their last hero now. They have a Sonya Stitches already. A bit of range damage would be nice. That's when we're talking about Reyna again. Or Vala, who is great for poking and wave clear on this map. So you can use the Composite Arrow as the level 1 talent and then also use that Frost Shot. It's pretty sweet to actually see these setups. And especially that Anubarak here makes me quite happy. I love that hero. Stitches and Anubarak, they're back in the meta. And I couldn't be more happy about it. It's amazing. Tacita, is he going to be played as a solo support? Are we going to see a second support being dropped, or will it be that Reyna? It is Reyna, indeed. Reyna is being used for the extra damage. Reyna here, in this case, the last pick. Guys, last map here as well. The best of 3 series. We have Battlefield of Eternity, the last map in the series here. Which team will go to the winner's match and which team will drop to the loser's match? We're going to find out together. Game number 3 between Fnatic and Go. The Polish team
lost the last match or the last map, and now they are going up against Fnatic again. The map is going to decide which team advances to the winners match at the end of the Storm playoffs. And to the left side, we currently see Breeze on Anubarak. We have Aethera Angel on Muradin, Quacknix on Falstad. We see Shrimpy on Zagara and Smexy on Karazim. To the right side of the map, Go with IK side on Reyna. They have GoTerra on Sonya, Arjun on Stitches this time, Magnifico on Tacita, and Wolves on Kel'Thas. The Fire Mage is back in the game, and he wants to see the world burn. Level 1 talent adjustments, already quite a few here. Interestingly enough, Stitches still went into the Hungry for More, which relies of course on the regeneration globes that you are able to gather. And considering that we are on Battlefield of Eternity, that usually means that you are a bit behind on that. As you can see right now, we have also Warpaint taken as a level 1 talent for Sonya. Still here with the Eminem picture, so to say. We have also Give Me More taken. We see Impale on the side of Anubarak. And oftentimes now on level 7, it is the increased range on the Burrow charge, which makes him a menace for the backline. And we have also, of course, Falset once again with the Season Marksman. The team is both starting to push the towers here. Bot lane towers are pushed by Go. And the same picture up at the top. First tower down here eliminated. At the top it looks very much the same, especially with Zagara, of course, moving in and doing the work here. She's really starting to pressure this hard. And IK's side on this Reyna has absolutely no chance of pushing this back. The same true at the bottom lane for Muradin, who's just like sitting there watching things happen. And they are a lot slower. They didn't even go through the second tower, and they did not get this wall here either. So first of all, we have that well eliminated, and then it's going to be the fort. Fnatic realizes that they are much faster with a push here, and they're just completely going for it, dropping those roaches as well. Reyna's trying to do what he can, but he has no chance. Falstad finishes it off at the bot lane. A very similar thing is happening, but everybody is starting to get low. Terror is nearly dying here. Terror is dying if he doesn't pay attention, and the rotation is moving in now too. Uh-oh, this is trouble on the side of Go. Here comes Anubarak, and he is Anubarak-ing Stitches. Stitches down, the top fort eliminated. Level 3 nearly for Fnatic as the Immortal spawns on the map, and they get a very solid lead in this game already. Great play here by them, and the much better push composition, which they realized immediately after we saw this little race starting. Great play here on their part now, and they start to move in with a level 4 talent, which is dropping as we speak, and will try to run with that advantage. There it is, Underking taken as the level 4 talent. We see the Reverberation build being used on the side of Muradin, going on level 4, then straight into the Thunderburn, which will apply the second time. There is a healing ward, which can be very nice in the positional. We have already up to the right side. Yep, there it is. IK side and the rest of them starting to go for the Immortal 2, but the pushing power is much better for Fnatic, and they put that to use to get that first Punisher in the game. Still the experience lead for them, and of course it's going to focus on the bottom lane right now, where we have in this situation still a fort remaining, because let's face it, that top fort, that didn't last long. Stitch is going straight into Amplified Healing. We have a double focused attack now taken for Reyna and also for Sonya. We are also seeing, in this case, the Leeching Plasma taken on Tacita, not going into Mental Acuity to counteract Zagara's Creep Tumors, and the teams are starting to move in. Only Sonya and Anubarak at the top lane. That advantage for Fnatic is still there, and they are very eager to drop the second wall as well. They will not get the fort, or at least they shouldn't get it, but they get both of the towers, and they are pretty far ahead at this point already experienced. If they can get a well, that would be great for them. The hook against Zagara, but no follow-up just yet. The well is still in play. They should maybe think about dropping a few roaches here and a hammer. If they can take that down, that would be absolutely amazing for them. As you can see here, we have Quacknix, Smexy, and Shrimpy together with the Aethera Angel, eliminating those waves still, wave clearing them. And well, with that, we currently still have an opportunity for Falstad to fly up. So the situation overall is that Zagara is, of course, trying to still control the map with a creep. And she has been doing a pretty solid job in the middle, but she has to do that, of course, soon again. The question is still, will on level 7 Endless Creep be used, or are they going for something else? Muradin, on the other hand, has to jump out now already. Gets hooked back in. Great positioning here also for Ardren. And they go for that particular camp now. Aethera and Smexy are way too low. Breeze is too late to really help them out. He could try and dash in against Stitches, but I don't think that he has the power to really eliminate him, so it's more or less
in vain. We have, in this case, everybody moving back. So with the level 7 talent, you get a bit of an advantage. If you go for Endless Creep, the vision on the map would be incredibly important here now for the team, but you can also go for the extra sustain so that you can stay in those fights a bit longer and go into rapid incubation. And we have, of course, also seen battle momentum quite often, which helps you, especially with that Hunter Killer later on after you get the Brute expansion. You can get a lot of these Hydras out there. It's one of the reasons why Zagara is actually waiting this long, because there's so many viable options now for her. And level 7 also dropped the Bed of Barbs now into play for Anubarak, so that we can see a bit more additional stuns in this game. With the level 7 talent ready for both of these teams, even though Fnatic still is slightly ahead, we have now also potentially a fight for the Immortal in the mid lane. Go would not have been able to do that without the level 7 talent, but they have that in time. And as you can see right now, it is Tenderizer and Stitches, ferocious healing for Sonya, so a bit more sustained for her, since she has to rely on Tassadar as the Olo support. And with Karla's Embrace, Tassadar is going to start and preload the shields, so that they can head into this battle with a lot more shielding power here. And the battle already started, so it's still at level advantage for Fnatic, but they have Falstad at the top, Zagara in the back. They need to wait for everybody to move in so that they can fight as 5. But it looks like at least Falstad wants to deep push that camp first. And the same is true for Sonya. She moves to the bottom where we have that Shaman spawning additional Fellhounds. And that opens a window of opportunity for Fnatic to move in and do a bit of damage. And that's exactly what they do. It's only a bit, some roughly 10%, a little bit more, maybe 15, but still solid. And they go for Kel'Thas. Zagara with the battle momentum for the damage. Ethereal Angel moving away. Breeze hugging, staying close, making sure that he gets that damage off the fission bombs too. But for now, we still have a better position for Fnatic, a slightly better position. It's all about the Stitches hook on the side of Go. They need to get a good hook in there and try to lock the target down with another win. But oh, and there it is, the hook, but it is Karazim. Karazim dashes away, back to safety. Ethereal is zoning. The healing ward is already in here, but with a nice storm, we see Magnifico taking it out and therefore reducing the sustain for Fnatic in this fight. And Fnatic, they move back. They are still ahead in experience. The fight lasts a little bit longer. It's not too bad for them. They can poke all the time against the Immortal of the opponent with the Zagara from a distance. They have it nearly at half health. They just need to make sure that they dodge these hooks, and that's exactly what they do. We have Breeze up at the top. Ethereal has to jump back. Now the tank line is very far back, and that means that both of those damage dealers are a little bit exposed, but they were able to put the damage onto the Immortals so that the halftime show has already started. And with this, we see another focus straight at the bot lane on the Immortal of Fnatic, as of course Go is trying to even the score. Especially with Quacknix, who moved back from lane for a little bit. Terror, on the other hand, is being pressured hard, locked down and shielded, but still eliminated. Nice kill for Fnatic. They have 2 kills against 0 and an opportunity to burst down the opponent's Immortal now. Incredible play here on their part. Very nice coordination. And they go to the top lane. They will get another Immortal, and this one is going to be even stronger than the first one. Not only because of the scaling over time, but also, of course, because we have now a massive amount of shields. 70% shield roughly on the Immortal, and it moves to the top. It moves to the bottom actually, since we still have a fort there. The wall has been destroyed a bit earlier, and this is an incredible position now for Fnatic to be in. They lost the first game in this series, but now they have an opportunity to get far enough ahead to solidify their lead and maybe even take an early keep here. Not quite sure if it's going to happen now, but they have still at level 10, and that's a huge ability to use. 7-sided strike, Cocoon, we have Mighty Gust, Avatar, and also the Maw now utilized. And with that in play, they have a chance to go for keep. They can do it. As long as there's no level 10 for the opponent, that's definitely a chance they have. We have at the top lane Sonya trying to get some experience. The problem is that she's not fast enough to really help the team out in time. Needs to move back at some point too. And down here, we already have the fort eliminated, and Fnatic moving mercilessly into the lane, trying to take the towers. First one down, gate destroyed. Tower number 2 is about to fall, and they are aiming, of course. Oh, they go for the Cocoon. They're trying to lock the target down, and they move in for the stun, and the 7-sided strike eliminates Reyna. He was a bit too far out, and they capitalize on it. They want the keep. They're gonna get the keep. They go straight into drop it. Very well played here by Fnatic. Great moves on their end. We have them with the Immortal, a lot of shields and the level 10 ability, and they are just simply saying, yes, this is our keep to take, and you have no way to defend it. A 2-level advantage right now. The keep already gone. Go is in trouble. They are just defending the Immortal. They have Putrid Ground now taken on Stitches, Wrath of the Berserker. We have Hyperion, Force Wall, and also the Phoenix in play. But this is, of course, quite a disastrous decision or situation now for Go. They go for camps. They take the camps. It's one of the few things that they can really try and attempt to do. But of course, Fnatic controlling the flow of the game at this point. We see Breeze moving over, but they should probably start to take that camp. They can time it, of course, with that Immortal, but it doesn't really hurt to go for the camp already and try and take it here. A lot of teams will actually do that. Try and take a camp, cap it a little bit later, wait for the Immortal to spawn first so that they get the massive value out of it. Go wasn't really in a situation where they could do that. For them, it was always the risk that Fnatic at some point with a level 13 talent moves in and tries to steal it away. So instead, they were just simply saying, okay, we're going to go for it right now and let it push the top lane. Didn't really work out as intended, though. And we have again the pressure play by Team Fnatic, aiming also for structure kills so that they can get more experience and the other level 13, which is right now the case. We see a few heroes forgo at the bot lane, most likely eliminating that fort that Fnatic still has there. But it doesn't really matter to Fnatic too much anymore, since they already have that level 13 talent, with now also Spell Shield taken for Nubarak. And they move in. Sonya in trouble. 7-sided strike has not even been used here. They only use their normal abilities to drop her. Great play here by Fnatic once again. They need to dash out with Smexy on Scarazim, but he is able to escape. The Immortal is going to be announced any second. There it is. And we have still a camp available to the left side that they can take on their way over there. So now level 13 versus level 11. They are so close with this. And desperate need now for the next talent for Team Go. And they need more than that. I mean, they need a small miracle to really come back into this game. If that Immortal ends up in the hands of Fnatic, then it's very likely that they're able to take the keep at the top lane too, and maybe even more than that, depending on how the team fight goes. But right now, it is just an amazing spot for Fnatic to be, and there's no doubting that. If they can force a fight, it would be great. Stitches is missing that hook, and that hook is one of the small chances that they have to turn this around if they can blow a target up. But they don't really have the spells and heroes to do that. Breeze is already there. The kill against Nubarak. The Maw did actually not hit anything. That's a great start actually into this. Nice hook again. Aethero jumping out. Maybe Go has a chance to take it here. Their own Immortal is already rather low, but still, as long as they can stay here a bit longer, maybe well up. The problem is they're being threatened on the lane now. The bottom lane, where we have two of the catapults pushing in together with the Shaman camp, is very unlikely to defend on its own, so they will lose a couple of shield points here. Shouldn't really lose any hit points on the core, but who knows? And especially with Fnatic, of course, just waiting for a few seconds to drop that Immortal. They have to do something. But Sonya's already back and trying to take care of the situation. The problem still remains that now with a halftime show in play, we have 50% on that Immortal only, and Fnatic is going for it. They're moving in, they're starting to drop it low. The hook, on the other hand, hits Shrimpy, doesn't get better than that, but a nice Mighty Gust is pushing everybody away. Again, Aethero trying to peel for the rest of the team. The two tanks in great position here between the opponent and the damage dealers, exactly where they need to be. But we have now everybody moving over to the well, trying to get some hit points and mana back so that they can fight once again. Hyperion committed, so Phoenix, they want some damage on it, and they do a lot of damage to the Immortal actually. But it's still an advantage for Fnatic, and Fnatic is trying to look for that kill. There's the hook again, missing. Zagara would have been a great target, but are they going to go for the kill? They don't dive, especially with Underking. They could, of course, jump into the backline, but it would expose Breeze on his Nubarak. So they played safe and sound, but Aethero and Quatnix are extremely low here. Quatnix has to jump away. Oh, and there we go. Going straight for the Maw again. Oh, and the attack that kills us down. Smexy focus, jumps away, dodges even so that he does not spread those chain bombs. Level 13 talents already in chain bombs. Relentless leader and Relentless have been taken, plus the mystical spear. Tassadar not going for Prescience yet. Is he thinking about Shrink Ray against the Nubarak? He could be, but Prescience would be the talent that we kind of expect at this point. It's all about that Immortal still, and we have Fnatic moving forward. They are trying to take it now. Smexy is getting a bit low here. Aethero Angel also, but they go for the Immortal, and they are going to get it. And it's 60% shields on the Immortal. Can they get a follow-up kill maybe? They cannot. They have to move back first. The Immortal is going to move up to the top lane, and this is the lane that they are going to push once again. Once that they go through the keep here, there's nothing standing between Fnatic and their victory except for the core itself. Still no Prescience on Tassadar, by the way. He refuses to pick his talent. I would be surprised if you forgot about it. It's actually pretty difficult to forget about a talent, especially since the game constantly reminds you about it. But he did not make a choice yet. He could, of course, still go for that Shrink Ray, but we haven't seen that yet. So we'll find out sooner or later what he has chosen. For now, it's a fight that they are trying to go for. Nice move, actually, by going to force that battle as the Immortal isn't even here. But the kill against Kalthas turns things against them. And we have an attack against Reyna that might also be successful. Sonya is still following up at the top. But this is a very dire situation now. Tassadar still without the talent. Tassadar! There's the prescience in the last moment. The keep is already gone though. And with that, the Immortal is going to make its way over to the core. We see already 2 heroes dead, and this might be Reyna's time to die. Yes, it is. A triple kill for Fnatic. 8 kills overall against 2. They go for the core, and this is going to be the conclusion of the best of 3 series here. Fnatic, they will move on, or will they? To the winners match? Maybe not yet. Nah, Aethera Angel moves in. The rest of the team is realizing what's happening as well. Oh, no, they're not. Aethera is the only one in there. Quatnik's actually dropping from the game. And here's the pause. And we have that core extremely low. I don't really understand why they were not trying to at least go for the kill. They had Breeze very low, of course, but still just dashing in. They could have YOLO'd it here. I really think they could have YOLO'd the core and tried to take it down. Didn't really work out that way. It's incredibly close though. I mean, with level 16 talents now on the board, it really looks like Fnatic is going to end this any moment now. Falset is going to be back. They only need a bit more damage. Of course, Tassadar is a bit of a nuisance when he starts to shield the core here, but well, either way, it's a very dire situation for Go, and I do not think that you can come back from such a position. Not without killing a keep yourself. First of all, we have, like, in terms of kills, only 2 against 8. Looking at the level 16 talents, we have them now also with the Blood for Blood on Nubarak. That alone is going to help Breeze a bit as well. Stone Form has been taken here too. We have Hammer Time as the talent. We are seeing the Brood expansion. And of course, the Circle of Life has also been claimed. So Quagnix with a bit of a disconnect, which definitely puts Fnatic in an awkward spot. But as long as he can reconnect, it's all going to be good. We have still one fort up at the top lane. We're currently seeing the one at the bottom lane destroyed. But both of the keeps are still in play for Fnatic. So they are in an amazing spot when it comes to attacking the core. With both of the keeps down here on both of those lanes, it means that the lanes are pushing very hard now against that core. And with only a few hit points remaining, there is always the threat of a backdoor attempt. That puts more or less a checkmate position onto Team Go, because when the next Immortal starts, there's very few things that they can really go. If they move into the middle of the map and try to take it from here, then all that Fnatic has to do is fly in with Falstad and try to just like drop the core right away. And if they go for core, then of course we will see Go move back, which opens up the mid lane so that they can go for the Immortal instead. So there's a lot of things that they can actually do with this. In terms of damage, as you can already see, we have a hero damage on Reyna at 47,000. He's still the best damage dealer in the game here so far. Even Kalthas can't compete with that. 35,000 for him. But we still see a situation where it's just not, it doesn't really matter anymore. At least it shouldn't matter anymore. Unless Fnatic goes for an absolutely incredible throw, this should be their game. This is definitely their game to lose, let's put it like that. We have the 1-1 situation in the best of 3 series, and if they take it here, that would mean that they will advance to the winners match, and then they are only one best of 3 series away from advancing to the round of 8. And in the round of 8, we have teams like Na'Vi already, so Quagnix apparently had a full disconnect here, not only in the game as well. It looks like he might even had a blue screen here from the looks of it. So he's at least back on TeamSpeak, back on voice, and that means he should connect to the game in just a few, so it shouldn't really be a big deal. 66,000, by the way, the heal on the side of Karazim, as you can currently see. We have also at the same time now, Tassadar with 32,000 still to the preload, thanks to Kala's Embrace. In case that you're not really familiar with the ability of Tassadar to sustain the team as a solo support, this is the talent that is really the most important. We have him with the plasma machines. They expire, of course, but 50% of the shields remain indefinitely. The effect doesn't stack, as you can tell from the tooltip, but this is really the talent that makes Tassadar so strong, because he can just preload the shields on this entire team, and it's a pretty incredible one at that. And then, of course, try to just like keep those up during the entire rest of the game. The chain bombs that we saw for Kalthas just dropped a little bit earlier, but they were not really able to turn the tide here for the team. We have still 8 kills against 2, and Kalthas was one of the priority targets in the last fight and started the entire chain reaction here. With Tenderizer and Stitches now, we are in a situation also with a good hook. The whole idea was to just like hook a target in and drop it. What I really liked was also that Karazhan was taken away from Ghost, since that would have been a great hero for them. Looks like everybody is back to business, and we are going to see the conclusion of the game. I suppose not quite yet. They will try to just like, or are we? They are actually moving in at the top after all. They go for it, and with 26% on the core, you can't really blame them. Yeah, they're gonna finish it. Mighty Gust was ready, and the core has been killed. Waiting for like 3 minutes, and then the game's over after 3 seconds. But yeah, this is the best of 3 series, guys. GG, well played. Fnatic takes it with a 2-1.
Okay, everybody, that's it for the day. We had some really fun games here, and I hope that you enjoyed them and also the commentary. Of course, we're going to have more Heroes of the Storm action on the channel in the near future. So if you enjoy the esports scene, Heroes of the Storm, make sure that you hit that subscribe button on KhaldorTV and also like the video if you haven't done that yet already. There's going to be more European games. We're going to have more North American matches as well. And of course, if you're interested in the Chinese Heroes of the Storm esports scene, I'm going to have more games on the channel as well in the near future as those leagues start again. At the same time, though, if you have friends that are also interested in esports and in Heroes of the Storm, make sure that you forward the channel to them and share it with them. It was a pleasure casting for you today, guys. I hope that you enjoyed, as I already mentioned, and I hope to see you next time for more Heroes of the Storm action here on KhaldorTV. See you guys soon. Have a great day. Bye-bye.